loves me being at home right now. That's it. That's my studio assistant, Yoko Ono. Hey, Laura. How are you?
Awesome. How are you?
Good.
So how has it all been going while you've been in isolation?
Yeah, it's pretty good, actually.
Is it kind of like how you usually operate anyway, just like in isolation on your own in your studio, or is this really different?
Yeah, definitely. I always paint alone. I like being in my actual house. I've never liked an external studio.
Yeah.
Except printmaking. I really like using printmaking studios, outside of the house. So but right now I'm only painting, so it's perfect for me being at home.
Yeah.
So the only bit that's different for me is because I teach art as well. So that's quite difficult. I don't know how I'm going to handle that via Zoom next week, but we'll see.
Are you going stir crazy at all, or you're just like...
Oh, not at all. I never get bored. There's always so much I want to do. So
Yeah.
No, definitely not bored. A little stir crazy as in I love being in nature in the garden, but I'm just walking every day now, so it's fine.
Do you think that you're more productive at the moment?
No.
No? You're taking a bit of a break?
A little bit, because I can on and off. I'm usually crazy, work all day, then crash out at night. But right now, because it's on and off, I can't tell if I'm motivated or not motivated because it's in bits and pieces. So it's really hard.
Have you been working on anything new?
Yeah, so I was supposed to do a solo at third quarter on the 3rd of April.
Yep.
When everything happened.
Yep.
So I did give them a few of those works that I completed for their storeroom. But right now I'm just going to take my time to kind of redo the show. That will happen later down the track.
Those works that you submitted for their stockroom, were they new in concept or material or anything, or are you kind of doing a lot of what you like to work with?
So, same materials, but I'm just expanding the concept I wanted to do further. I feel like my last work didn't really cover the idea of objects in the home and the greenery and the interior design obsession that I have. So I've tried to pare them back a bit and really go a little bit more minimal just to kind of get the idea out that I want right now. So hopefully it'll come across. So it's more me looking at shapes and textures and colors rather than having identifiable objects around me. So that's why you'll see a lot of, geometry in these works, but also a lot of green. Really represents the foliage. If you see inside my house, it's like a plant nursery. So that's where that part comes from.
True.
Yeah, there's a set palette that I love when I'm looking at interior design. And that comes out through my painting, but even through fabrics to everything.
So you're in your studio at the moment, and I know that you've often complained because you've always said that it's pretty small for you.
It is.
But have you found that you've just been able to kind of nestle in there and make? Has it been really an easy kind of transition from the go to work, come home, nestle down and work? Or has it been really difficult at this time when you could just create and create and create to be in the same space all the time?
No, because I can move it around. I mean, I'm pretty lucky. It's well ventilated, but also I can go outside and paint as well. And then I've got a workshop downstairs if I needed to actually use power tools and things. So I feel pretty good about it. I've got lots of little places I could move around if I got sick of it.
Yep.
But it's a bit of an open room too. It's not closed off, so I don't feel trapped in here.
Yep. What we've been seeing on Instagram has been, I've never seen you work with green, like the kind of brights and also pastel greens. Yeah, and I'm really seeing a bit of that fun. And you know that I love a bit of that. Like I'm going to love all the things that you create. But obviously it's been exciting to see a new colour palette emerge that is sort of fresher than what I suppose I've seen in your work before. In the past, in a lot of your work, you have stuck to very monochromatic sort of works that have then maybe used a slight tonal or gradient change through, like, say, like an accent color that you've used throughout a body of work. It does look quite different. So tell me a little bit about that.
Definitely not planned. I would say evolved. I actually generally like monochromatic work, but I can't help it, as we've talked about before, that I'm a colorist. So they just come out. I don't have a choice. But I think because I am limiting my palette, that's why you're getting more of a variety of greens, because I don't want to be stuck with, the murky greys. And I want to try and, like you said, make more of a vibrant palette, but still keep it restricted.
All right. And what have you got behind you? Is that a new work as well?
Yeah. So this is the largest piece I don't know if you can hear it.
Yep.
Not really, but to me, I call it a large piece because I work quite small. That will be the main centerpiece for the third quarter. Yeah, I just want to alter it because I have time now. So I'm one of those people that once I've finished work, I have to move on to something else. I can't let the work sit the way it is for a long period of time. So now that it's sitting here, I have to change it.
Is that on canvas or is that on board?
Yeah, so I haven't used canvas for maybe 10 years. I just thought I'd try it out because I usually do paint quite flat. So I wanted to see if the canvas would just kind of just bring out a little bit more texture in my work. I'm actually enjoying it. I thought I would hate it, but I actually really like it.
As someone who's not a painter, can you tell me a little bit about what the difference between using the two materials are?
Yeah, so when I would use plywood, I loved it because I was doing flat layers, so it would be nice and smooth. Whereas when you use canvas, your paint can get stuck on the texture. So say you're doing a dry brush, just something quite light, there'll be a lot of gaps in between that. Yep. And in this case, this is helping me not to be as flat because it will get caught in the texture a little bit more. So it'll give it a bit more contrast, I'm hoping.
And what do you have coming up this year? I mean, that's to that everything will return to a new kind of normal at some point. You got very many shows planned. Obviously, you'll be doing your third quarter redo.
Yeah. So that's the first one. I was supposed to be in one of the quarterly monster creatives for Vacant Assembly. I try and at least do one a year because I love working with that gallery.
Yep.
And then I would do a solo with you, with my gallery.
Yeah, okay. And is there anything else that you wanted to show me while you were in there in your studio? Have you got anything fun laying around that you've been playing with?
So this one, a lot of ruling. I'm using rulers a lot. About 8 of these little minis. So they're on plywood. So these are ones that I haven't finished yet. But you can see the different colours.
Yes.
That's a very Laura one right there. And then a bit of, transparency.
Wow, yep.
I love working small. I've got to try and keep it not too detailed as well. So I'll probably go over these and make these a little bit more simple.
Do you find that there's, when you're working with the smalls and you do want to have, you have an outcome in your mind of how you want them to be pared back and whatnot, is it slightly more restrictive? Do you find that it's actually difficult to be not as gestural or not as, fluid with perhaps your mark making because you are trying to keep the palette quite small and minimal?
Yeah, absolutely. I find it is difficult to mark make when you're doing oil painting that small. If I was using more drawing media, maybe just some, ink or something, it'd be a lot easier. So it is a bit of a challenge for me, but I like doing it so I can, learn to hold back and not overdo it. And I try and leave that detail of mark making for the larger pieces.
But that's something that people are at the moment, they're in this modus operandi, just doing this over and over again production line because they've just got this time to create. And I'm finding that a lot of artists are using smaller canvas or board to work with. And I'm interested at how, if it's very different to what, if you normally would say, oh, I've got a large piece to work on over a period of time, if it's different to then just returning to these smalls that you can just kind of, pump out much quicker. But are they in a way not ticking all the boxes that you would normally want to tick if you worked large scale? I
think so, yeah. When I work on them, though, I work on them all at once. So in a way, it's almost like they are a large work because they're getting created all together. It's just you got to check off sections that are finished bit by bit. Do
you use so say that you do your little your letters or your scratchings or something along those lines? Will you go and use the same material that you're doing or the same technique, on each different one and then swap material or swap technique and then go and do all of it again? I'm not that organized. No? It's more spontaneous, so what I'm feeling at the time. So maybe, like I said, with the medium to large works, they might have bits like that done at a similar time. Maybe a little bit in the smalls, but it's
pretty much whatever goes that day. The most thing, I guess, that's a bit consistent is my palette. So I don't want to waste a palette. So I'll spread that color across other pieces that I know will have that in it eventually.
So there is a bit of organization in that, isn't there?
A little bit. I've been told that before, that I have a method. I don't see it, but apparently I do.
Method to the madness, I guess.
Yeah, I guess so.
Awesome.
Yep.
Well, I guess that pretty much you've answered everything I've wanted to know. I would love if anybody's watching this at the moment, if they wanted to send any questions our way to pass on to Kitty, feel free to do so in the comments or send us an email. As we mentioned earlier, there are some works up on Third Quarter's Stockroom that you can access via their website. And of course, you can contact Kitty directly or through Side Gallery's online shop as well. So thank you so much for meeting with us, Kitty, and I hope you and Yoko have a good rest of isolation, but we will chat again soon, I'm sure. And yeah, I'm looking forward to coming out of isolation and seeing all your new work. So
great. Thanks, Laura. Look forward to seeing you soon.
All right, you too. All right, bye.
Bye. Most you've ever seen her because she ran away when you came over.
Hang on. Get us. Hold on. There we go. And one more. Hang on. Adorable.
Shaky bro.